Hi, everybody. This is Alyssa with the Morgan County Public Library, and I've got a book talk for you today. I actually have two books to talk to you about, and I'll kind of explain why I have two this go around as we get into the discussion. But these are both survival stories. They are from our Tween collection, so again, that's kind of what we suggest for you guys who are in grades 4 through 6. The first book we're going to talk about is a brand new book. We only got it a few weeks ago. It's called The Canyon's Edge, and it is written by Dusty Bowling. Let you guys look at that for a second. Now, this is about a girl named Nora. Nora lives with her dad, and her family has had a pretty horrific year. A year ago, Nora's family was involved in a shooting, and her mother did not survive. Her dad has some physical injuries from that incident, and then he and Nora both have mental and emotional problems that have come as from that incident. Nora doesn't sleep very well. She has a really bad problem with nightmares, and her dad, he's very cautious now. He has pulled Nora out of school because he doesn't feel like he can keep her safe while she's at school. So it's just the two of them right now. Like I said, they are both working through a lot of things. Now, one of the things Nora's family has always enjoyed doing is they like rock climbing. They like rock climbing, hiking, camping, being out in nature, and they live in the American Southwest. So in the desert there, they've got lots of great canyons that they can go rock climbing in. So Nora's dad has found kind of a new canyon for he and Nora to explore. And they are out there one day. They've, got their gear. They have rappelled down from the top of the canyon to the floor of the canyon. And while they're there, Nora starts talking to her dad about wanting to go back to school. She thinks it might help her if she can go back to school and do something that's kind of normal. But he doesn't like this idea and says that it's not going to happen. So while they're having this argument, they hear this huge rumbling that they think is an earthquake at first, but then they realize it's actually a flash flood. Yes, flash floods happen in the desert because it's so dry there. The desert can't kind of take on the water as quickly as it needs to. So they can have these huge rushes of water come down the canyon, which is what has happened to Nora and her dad. Nora blacks out, and when she wakes up, she is by herself. She can't see her dad, doesn't know where he is, and she does not have her backpack, which has her water in it, food, her climbing supplies, and she is down in this canyon. So now here's the problem. How is she going to get out? How is she going to find her dad? And how is she going to do this quickly? Because people need water to survive. I double checked it this morning. Most people, you can go 3 to 4 days without water, and she's in the desert. So time is of the essence for Nora. Another cool thing about this book, I'll show this to you. It's written in verse. So it looks kind of like poetry. Nora is a writer. She writes poetry herself. And what's kind of cool about it being in verse is that it really, you want to know what happens. It seems that much more urgent because these are just kind of like little snippets for you to find out what is happening to Nora. So that is The Canyon's Edge. Now, while I was reading this, I realized that I had read another book that would be a good read-alike for this. So a read-alike, let me kind of back up. Usually anytime you come in here and you ask me or one of the other librarians for a book recommendation, one of the things we will ask you is to give us the title of a book you've read recently that you really liked. We ask you that so we can kind of get an idea of what kind of things you like to read. And then at that point, we probably have an idea of something very similar that you might like. So as I was reading The Canyon's Edge, I thought of another survival story. This is called Hatchet by Gary Paulson. So I'll let you look at that one. This is about a boy named Brian. Now, Brian's parents have recently divorced, and Brian is getting ready to go visit his dad, who is working out in the Canadian wilderness. And because it's very remote, Brian is taking a small plane to get there. So this plane just has him and the pilot on it. So Brian's mom sends him on his way, and he and the pilot are flying across the wilderness. and the pilot has a heart attack. The plane crashes, and Brian is the only survivor. He is now stranded in the wilderness with only the clothes on his back and a hatchet. So, the question is, how is he going to survive? How is he going to survive, excuse me, until someone can come rescue him? And how long is it going to be before somebody comes to rescue him? Can he make it? So again, these are the two survival stories I shared with you today. The Canyon's Edge and Hatchet. If you are interested in checking either of these out, or if you need another book recommendation, please feel free to stop by the library. You can also look at our catalogs online at the library's website, morgancountylibrary.info. Have a good day, everybody.